So welcome everyone. It's great to see that we've got 47 participants joining from at least 8 different countries, if no more, but certainly representing 8 different universities across Europe. You may be from Politecnico di Milano, you may be from RWTH Aachen, from ETH in Zurich, UPC in Barcelona, from Chalmers in Sweden, from INSA Lyon in France, Loughborough in the UK, or Trinity College of Dublin in Ireland. You're all most welcome, and we all hope that you're all keeping well in this environment. It's a delight, it's a privilege, an honor, and to be able to say that this program continues with the commitment of everyone in the network, even through difficult times, and actually with quite positive experiences. So we welcome you to this information session, and we will be talking about the UNITECH program. That's possibly what you're here to learn about. But just to give a little bit of context, you will be joining not just a UNITECH program, but you will be joining a UNITECH ecosystem, an ecosystem of academic partners and corporate partners that come together to create this experience, which is the UNITECH program. But once you finish the UNITECH program, you will continue the journey within the UNITECH Alumni Association. So what is the purpose of the UNITECH program? As it says in the slide, the purpose is to fast track the development of high potentials in engineering. So basically, to allow highly talented engineering students from across Europe, allowing them to accelerate their development so that they can touch the ground in the corporate life and start having impact from the beginning. So it allows you to develop leadership skills, team development skills, and soft skills, as we will see in the next slide. So 3 areas of development. First of all, technical. If you're here on the call, it means that you're in a technical, one of these 8 highly regarded technical universities in Europe. So your technical skills are there. And during the program, you will have the opportunity to continue developing them in a host university. So there's an exchange program that's part of this program per se. The UNITECH program isn't just an exchange or a mobility program, but it has that aspect as well. It's one of the 3 areas. Another area of the program is coaching, dedicated coaching that is provided by highly regarded, actually, coaches from corporate partners that have your best interest at heart. And finally, it's the internship program. The internship, actually, it's part of the program, sorry, which is located in one of our corporate partners. And as I said, our corporate partners are really committed to continue with this program and to providing internships to all our students, even though we are going through these difficult times. Why? Because they believe in the power of this program. So as it says in the slide, core competencies, throughout this program, you will be developing technical skills, professional skills that will allow you to impact be part or even create a high-performing team, and also develop some interpersonal and intercultural skills that will allow you to work with a global mindset. And actually, we've got 3 wonderful speakers today, actually previous alumni or previous students and alumni, who will share with you their experiences. So it's an honor for me to, first of all, Joude will tell us about her experience in the academic exchange. Then Mayra Arnau will continue telling us about beyond the program. And actually beyond the program, up to 17 years later, she's still part of this UNITECH ecosystem, as you will hear. And Tobias will tell us about his wonderful experience in 2 different countries, 2 different continents. So let's start with Joude. So Joude is a French and fresh graduate from INSA Lyon in mechanical engineering and a UNITECH alumna from 2019. She's interested in management and passionate about working in international environments. She was looking for a special experience abroad where she could meet and work with people from different countries and backgrounds. With UNITECH, she did her academic exchange in TU Delft, that's in the Netherlands, and her internship with one of our corporate partners named Bühler in London. Today, she will be sharing her experience in the Netherlands, what challenges she encountered as an exchange student there, and how UNITECH helped her overcome them. So Joude, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. Hi, everybody. I'm Joude. Before I start talking about the exchange specifically, I'm just going to quickly explain why I applied to UNITECH. As I said, I said in the introduction, I've always been interested in management. Throughout my studies, I've worked with in multiple projects, and I've worked with a lot of student associations as well. When I was, and I had the chance to be managing a lot of diverse groups of people, being a team leader, and I realized that I quite liked having such positions. But what really convinced me to apply was the international aspect of the program. I've always loved working in multicultural environments. I've actually spent my first 2 years at INSA in an international section called SCAN. I don't know if we have any INSA Lyon students here, but they might have heard of it. It's the only section in the university where all courses are taught fully in English, and half of the students are not French. They're international students. And I've had so much fun during those 2 years. I've learned so much with them, talking to all these different students, that I knew in the future I would want to work in such environments. And so UNITECH felt like the perfect choice for me, because it would introduce me to management even before I graduate, and give me the chance to meet many people from different countries. So that's why I applied. Fortunately, I got accepted, and I did my academic exchange in TU Delft. But before this exchange, there's a very specific week in the UNITECH year, which is called the Startup Week. And I think I need to talk about it because it is a very important week in the year. Very quickly, for those of you who don't know how the UNITECH year is organized, you have the academic exchange and then the internship. And you have 3 different weeks that are throughout the year that take place in different cities. The very first week before you get into the host university is called the Startup Week. In our case, it was in Switzerland with ETH Zurich. And this week prepares you perfectly, not just to the academic exchange, not just to the UNITECH year, but most importantly, it introduces you to the people that make the program, being the members of the board, the coaches, which will help you and guide you throughout the year and are just amazing people, and the rest of the group, the 70-ish students that will be spending the year with you. You can see a beautiful picture of all of us there. We had so much fun during this week. But this week is really important because you get to work with everybody. By the end of this week, you have worked with every single person of the UNITECH group. And it's really interesting because early on, throughout ice-breaking games, projects, and presentations, you will understand that working... I'm sorry, somebody has his microphone on. Okay. So yeah, you will quickly understand that the Germans don't work the same way as the Spanish or the Italians or the French. So it's really interesting because it's a great way to comprehend or maybe discover, for some of us, intercultural teaming, and that prepares you to what you're about to experience during the academic exchange. You will have to work with people that, come from different countries, different cultures, different ways of working. So that's really nice to have this introduction. But also you get to bond with your host university group, the people, the small group of students who will be joining you to the same host university. And that's also amazing to have time to spend with them and to know them, get to know them, because when the startup week is over and everybody goes back to their host university to start the semester, you're not alone anymore. Usually when you go abroad for an academic exchange, we all know that the first 2-3 weeks, there's always some issues, always hurdles with accommodation, logistics, or courses. It's normal. You need time to adapt to the new country and the new university. But this time you start the year with a great advantage. You start the year with a group of people that you can already call friends at this point. You know how they work, you know how they think, and having this group of people that is already pretty bonded is a great advantage. You will be able to help each other throughout the semester. If you're lucky, you'll even end up with some of them in the same class, the same courses as you, and you'll be able to work together. And again, that's one of the biggest advantage of this program. You're not alone. You really have this group of people that you'll stay together and help each other out anytime. So in my case, I did my academic exchange in TU Delft in the Netherlands. It was honestly an amazing semester. We had so much fun. Of course, adapting to the Dutch culture was a challenge. It was interesting. I put a picture of bikes because it's not a cliche. There's bikes everywhere there. It was a shock, but I had to learn how to be comfortable on a bike because I've never been comfortable on a bike. But I think the biggest challenge for me about adapting to Dutch culture was not so much on everyday life things, but it was more on their way of studying. The Dutch, the way courses are taught in the Netherlands is very different from the way they're taught in France. The Dutch students are way more autonomous. They're used to having just lectures, and then they have to figure out what exercises to do and find themselves the corrections, and it's really up to them. They put on the entire work, and it's really different in France. In France, we have lectures, we have tutorials. The teachers are always here for us. They do everything with us as well. So that to me was a great challenge because I've never been used to working that much on my own. But again, the fact that I wasn't alone, the fact that I was not going through this on my own, I had a great group of people around me to help each other out. I was able to overcome this. But something else really stuck with me during this experience. The Dutch have a way different vision of failure and failing a test specifically. I remember being so stressed about an exam, and some Dutch students looked at me and he was like, why are you so stressed? It's not a big deal. And I told him, yeah, well, if I fail, it's awful. And he was like, no, it's fine. You just have to retake it. And if you fail the retake, you can retake it another time. And in France, we don't have that. We only have one retake. And I was so surprised of how calm all the Dutch students were when it was exam time and exam season. And they gave me a lesson about failure, and it shouldn't be a big deal. And what we call actually failing a test, for them it's not really failing. It's just that it wasn't you didn't work enough for this one. You'll work more for the next one. And that's something that I actually took as a lesson for the rest for the next part of my life. I changed my view in my mind on how I view failure in general. But TU Delft itself was a big challenge. TU Delft is ranked 4th in the world in mechanical engineering. So I knew that I needed to put on the work. But being surrounded by this group of people really helped me. But I think what helped me the most is the UNITECH spirit, what I call the UNITECH spirit. Yeah, thank you. UNITECH has this ability to give you so much confidence. If you get to UNITECH, it means that they saw something special in you. They see potential, and they know that you can bring something to the table. And the fact that they believe in you so much, I know, at least for me, brought me so much self-confidence. And whenever I was feeling self-doubt, when I was stressed and anxious about not being able to succeed, I always thought about me getting into UNITECH. And if they saw something in me that meant that I could do anything that my mind was set to do. So that really helped. So I was able to succeed. I passed. I passed all the exams there. But on a more fun note, we had a really amazing time. You can see on the pictures, the group was really. We had an amazing group. We honestly spent a lot of time together. We organized dinners. I lived in the same building as two other UNITECHers, so we would see each other very regularly. We even had the students from Aachen. They came to visit us for a weekend, and I know a lot of other universities did the same in different countries. We also had one of the corporate partners, Hiva, invite us for a full day to their factory, and we spent again an amazing day with them. It's the two pictures on the right. We learned so much about their products and what they did. And again, you felt the UNITECH spirit. Everybody around you is so nice, but also genuinely here to help you and advise you and answer all the questions you have. And that's what I really loved about this this experience and this UNITECH year in general. And I've had an equally amazing experience with my internship, but you know, that's another story. But yeah, if some of you are still doubting, go for it. It's only positive things that they can bring to you. You'll meet amazing people. It will build you self-confidence. And I'm a big believer in stepping out of your comfort zone. And this is the best way to do it. You'll be surrounded by amazing people. So that's it for me.
Thank you very much, Joude. It's lovely to see your energy, your enthusiasm. And, you know, three very important topics you've touched on. One, how it allowed you to build your confidence. Two, how the impact of reframing failure, not just for the exams, which, you know, it's a big issue, you know, it's a big theme in one's life, but actually for life, what's failure? And to the point where now you're in the point of saying, get out of your comfort zone. It's so much worth it. So thank you for sharing those experiences. And also something you highlighted, the importance of community. Mm-hmm. And people like it so much that they even stay 17 or even 20 years later, like our next speaker, Mayra. So let me introduce you to Mayra. And if Mayra could then come into the image as well, that would be great. Mayra represents today not just, she's an alumna, and actually a quite important alumna, but she also represents a corporate partner today, Roche. She's a telecommunications engineer from UPC in Barcelona, and she did her UNITECH exchange in ETH Aachen and her internship with Siemens in Frankfurt. On the last week of her UNITECH program, what we called the General Assembly, she got an interview with Roche, one of our corporate partners, back then and also today. And she's been there for 17 years. She's currently the head of case investigation and resolution, complaint handling for IT and pre-analytic products at Roche worldwide. She has teams in Switzerland, Germany, and Spain. And not least important, she's married and has 3 children. So welcome, Mayra. Thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marta. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you for the invite for being here today. Before I start with my speech, I would like to give a bit of context of year 2000. Year 2000 is the year I joined UNITECH, and internet was a bit quite young at that time. What I mean is that to know about a country, you need to travel abroad. You could watch some TV and some series in TV. You could read a bit of the encyclopedia, but you don't have so much information in internet as you guys have today with all these videos and these tutorials. Also in Spain at that time, I would like to mention something. My first Hotmail account that I had is the one I created for UNITECH to move to Aachen. So at that time was very, very, very new, all this internet topic. At that time also in Spain, there was not many people that could speak English. We learned English at school, yes, but we didn't reach at that time the level that allowed us to go to a country and be able to speak and communicate properly. We were just starting, at least in Spain, it was quite new. And also there were not many young people at that time that had been abroad or studying in another country. That was at least the situation for where I was living in Spain, right? Luckily for me, the situation was a bit different. I was professional tennis player years ago. I was ranked in WTA, and I had been teaching tennis in United States for some summers during my studies, and then I could already speak English. Not perfect, as you can see, but good enough to be able to move to another country. And also, I had already the experience of what living in another country, living abroad meant. So I had already experienced living abroad. So I was not looking for a program at that time that will just provide me with international experience. At that time, I saw Erasmus, for instance, as a program where you exchange from one country to the other. Of course, you are challenged by the integration of the new country and facing a new culture and a new language, but it's the same content. You do your studies here, you do the studies there. I was looking for something that will give me more, help me on my career development. It was my goal. So Erasmus was not really what I was looking for. I was looking for something else. I was looking for a program that will give me more business and management insights where I could be faced with already company insights on what the business side of a company. So UNITECH was really perfect for me, was really what I was looking for. So what I learned from UNITECH, I got management skills, leadership skills. I improved my communication skills, my presentation skills. May I not be perfect today, but they are much better than they used to be in the past, right? And also, UNITECH gave me something that I'm really proud of. It's that I got in contact with Roche, corporate partner at the time, and I'm 17 years already in this company, and I'm very proud and happy to be there, right? UNITECH for me is also something that I would like to highlight. I feel part today of a selected network, an international selected network of engineers. Why I feel it's selected and I feel privileged? Because to join UNITECH, you have to be talented, right? You have to go through a tough assessment center, and only the best ones with some leadership skills, with some management skills, with some talent inside are selected for this program. Joude was explaining it very well before, right? They see something in you, and that's why you are selected for this program. And then when you are joining the UNITECH program, you are part of a big family, which is the UNITECH family. So coming back to where I am now, I'm at Roche. If you don't know the company, I will encourage you to really visit our website and investigate a bit what Roche is, the company. But I would like just to mention we are the first in vitro diagnostics company in the world, and we are one of the companies fighting hard and fighting against the COVID pandemic. I guess everybody's at least affected or some a bit about the COVID. So we are the first company that received the FDA emergency use authorization to commercialize two tests to detect and diagnose the COVID pandemic. So we are really fighting hard to help society to overcome this pandemic. Having said that, I think, let me see that I don't forget anything I want to share with you. I would like to finalize my intervention with some things that I learned from UNITECH, and I keep applying today my key values, and I would like to mention some of them. One of them is the sense of purpose and the contribution to improve society, right? So from my work at Roche, everything we do, it has an impact on patients. A patient can be you, can be me, or can be a relative of us. So from UNITECH, this is something that you learn, everything you do that you can contribute to improve society or to improve the world. It's something that we keep in our mind, right, to help the society. The second thing I keep in mind as a value is the diversity, includes diversity. As Marta mentioned, I have teams in other countries, in Switzerland, in Germany, and in Spain. And when I build a team, I try to have diversity in age, gender, cultures, and also countries. It brings a lot of value to my teams to have different point of views, people with different mindset, and increase the value proposition from my teams. And this is something I really keep in mind when I build up my teams. And my last thing that I also keep in mind, so as a manager today, I'm happy to be able to hire students. And I try to offer as many internships as possible to young people like you to have the opportunity to work for extraordinary companies like the corporate partners in UNITECH, like, for example, Roche. So I try to really offer internships to young students. You guys come with an open mindset, with really crazy ideas, breaking borders, breaking barriers. You are great, and I enjoyed so much working with young people like you. I think I'm trying from a manager perspective to give opportunities to young people, and I really hope that you can join my department somehow. So that's what I wanted to say. This is all I wanted to share with you. But just my last sentence is, if you don't know UNITECH, if you are not part yet of UNITECH, I really encourage you to join us. It's really, really worth it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mayra. What a beautiful and energetic presentation of your experience of UNITECH throughout 20 years, right? From the beginning, from the birth of UNITECH 20 years ago. Mayra actually was the first alumna to graduate as well, ever. So that's another point. And it's beautiful what you mentioned about the importance of purpose. And I think that's one of the characteristics of Roche, and also characteristics of different corporate partners, the commitment to the impact they have on society, and the willingness to welcome young talent with ideas, wanting to break borders and make the society that they want to see in the future, knowing that it's actually in your hands to do so. And corporate partners who are willing to give you the opportunity to have that impact. It's amazing. And the other point that I find really fascinating, Mayra, is what you said about the community, UNITECH, the UNITECH community, the UNITECH family, and how this diverse and rich community sticks together for over 20 years now. Thank you very much. And I'd like to invite now, I'd like to introduce you next to Tobias, who comes all the way from Infineon in Munich. He also completed his year, his UNITECH year, like Joude did, in 2019-2020. And he's currently completing his thesis with his internship employer, Infineon Technologies. Tobias is a Dean's List student in electrical engineering and management at RWTH Aachen. For those of you who don't know what a Dean's List student is, it means that there are very few of them. They are top. And maybe Tobias will let you know more about this when he comes. He will share with you why he chose UNITECH of all other programs that were available to him. To him and to students, the very few students of his caliber, and how his experience in 3 starkly different environments, namely Singapore, Munich, and Delft, has shaped his UNITECH experience. So may I welcome Tobias to give his experience.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Martha, for the very lovely introduction. So here I am. Let's go through my UNITECH experience coming from a more corporate side. Therefore, I would like to divide my UNITECH journey into 3 different stages. So we have the exploration phase, the being valued phase, and the growing phase, or the grow phase. So let's start at the beginning. I attended the startup week, as Joude did, in September 2019 in ETH. It was a really great experience. And then I went together with Joude to TU Delft in the Netherlands. I mean, I'm studying in Aachen, so TU Delft in the Netherlands is like 3 hours away with the train. So you might be wondering, okay, international and stuff. Well, I chose TU Delft because of being a high-notch university, because of learning stuff at the university, and I wanted to see whether it's totally different to Aachen. Well, I realized it is not totally different. They are all cooking with water. So that's why I decided for my internship, I wanted to go to somewhere else, somewhere totally different, somewhere totally far away. So after finishing my exchange at TU Delft at the end of January, I had to write 3 more exams at Aachen. And 2 days after I had my last exam at RWTH Aachen, I directly took the next plane to Singapore and arrived and started my internship on the next Monday at Infineon Technologies Asia Pacific as an intern in the so-called SMA department. What is this? This is the Strategy, Mergers and Acquisition department. So it's kind of in-house consulting at Infineon Technologies. Here we work together with really interesting colleagues, really nice colleagues coming from India, Indonesia, China, and also Germany. So you can see in the middle picture, for example, this is the nice location of Infineon in Singapore. So it's huge. Actually, we have 2 locations. So this is just where the, let's call the management people sit. And we also have a testing and manufacturing facility in Singapore. It's just across the corner. I had really interesting tasks ranging from, for example, competitor analysis to investigating macroeconomic developments in the APEC region. And here I also had a special focus on the health tech sector, for example, and having an electrical background that came in handy because I could not only read about the technologies, I also partly understood what they're about. So there was a great combination between business and engineering. What is UNITECH all about? So you may be asking yourself, why Singapore? Why Infineon? Well, I mean, I spent my exchange semester in TU Delft, which was great, but it was so close to Germany. So I wanted to go far away. That's why I went on the careers fair from booth to booth and asking the companies, guys, where can I go the most farthest away, the most interesting internships, the most, I don't know, amazing countries. And that's when I came across Infineon. And they told me, well, basically you can go everywhere, America, Singapore, or anywhere else. And since I've been in the Asian region only in Shanghai so far, I've said, okay, let's add Singapore to this portfolio because Singapore is just, it's just special. It's so innovative. It has Western values, but also Asian values. You have Indonesian, Chinese, and all the different nationalities coming together in Singapore. And it's so little, but yet the economy is so strong. So I wanted to explore why this is the case, why they are so special, and what's it like to work at a big company in Singapore. So yeah, that's how it happened. I had, I think, 2 phone calls. And then basically I got the job. I got the internship, some visa applications really fast. I mean, it's Singapore, so nothing takes longer than, I don't know, 2 days. No bureaucracy at all. That was just great. Yeah, and I mean, the internship all in all was really great. We had a lot of stuff to do in Singapore, as you can see on the left picture, for example. We had other students visiting where we just explained what we were doing on the right picture, and it was great food, awesome recreational possibilities, and also we wanted to use Singapore as a gateway to travel to, for example, Bali, Bangkok, and all the other surrounding cities, Cambodia, Vietnam, and so on. However, as you know, then came the COVID pandemic, and everything was a little bit different. So after being in office about 1.5 months, we were sent to home office. And in Singapore, it was like this. Home office is, you don't go out, you just go out for exercising, as you already know, like really police enforced lockdowns. And the thing in home office is you don't really engage with the colleagues in the same way you would as you'd be in the office. And I mean, you don't get the spirit of working in a different country or the culture of working in the same way when you're in home office than you're in the office. Before this time in the office, it was great. You could see really talk with the colleagues about how they see things, how they, for example, which political opinion they have on the democracy or the Singaporean system. It was great, but then home office was a little bit tough. During this time, yeah, let's call it the exploration phase was over. There was no exploration at all. It was just working from home in your 9 square meter Singaporean apartment because rents are really expensive. Yeah, so it's a limited experience gathering at this point. However, in this period, I call it the being valued period, because in this period, it was like, okay, I had no other internship at site. I spoke to my supervisors and the people in Munich, and they were like, yeah, Munich is quite full with interns. We accepted too many because everyone moved to Infineon since, for example, BMW stopped any internships. And yeah, it was a crazy time. And I felt kind of lost, but you are not lost because you're UNITECH students. So you have the UNITECH network, which is completely different than any other network. So what did I do? I just called the UNITECH students at Infineon in Munich at Campion and asked them, guys, in which department are you? Do you have any other internship? And they said, yeah. They gave me the contact with their supervisor. I wrote one email to him and saying in which situation I am, like sending my CV. And then on the next day I had the phone call, and he basically started the phone call with, do not worry, you have your internship. We just need to fix what you want to do and when you want to start and how long should it go. So you see, being a UNITECH member, being a UNITECH student is really about being valued by your corporate partners. You have benefits and you are valued in this extent. And so in these very difficult conditions and times, I was able to move actually from Singapore, from my department to Munich. We call it Campion, where we are sitting here. And yes, in a different department. And as you can see, we got one of the last flights. Luckily, it got not canceled as all the other flights. 20 people on a huge Boeing aircraft, totally tremendous experience. Yes, so during this period, it's really about being valued as a UNITECH student. And yeah, after we escaped Singapore on one of the last planes to Germany, the value phase was over. And 1 week without work, like I literally had only 1 week. And my next internship started on the 11th, but I was still in quarantine. Well, no problem. They sent me the laptop. They did a digital onboarding. I worked from home for about a month and then moved directly to Munich. So it was a seamless transition. There was great support because, I mean, we're UNITECH students, so you're being valued by this company. And then the grow phase started. So if we go on the next picture, here you can see them on the left and in the middle, some really nice pictures of where I'm sitting currently. It's Campion, so a wonderful headquarters in the south of Munich. And I changed department. So I was at this time an intern in the corporate supply chain engineering innovation department. So you might be wondering, yeah, okay, what is innovation? Well, basically we do the really fancy and nice stuff here. So we do everything from machine learning to AI to simulation, maybe simulation of COVID, and all the really fancy stuff. We do semantic web. I don't know what this is, but we do it anyway. So it's just a really cool department. We have about 60 people, 60 students here, which are interns, bachelor students, master thesis students, working students, PhDs, and it's just a very innovative culture. We are very young, and it's a really fast-paced culture as well. So okay, I came in here where there were several projects available. And again, being a UNITECH student, we were offered a lot of responsibility. In this grow phase, I could choose every single project that I wanted to do. And one of my first project that was assigned by my boss actually. He said, well, we have this problem discovered by UNITECH in 2007. So you have to imagine a problem existing since 2007. And he gives it to me as the first task. And I'm like, yeah, okay, it's there for more than 10 years. How should I solve it? And he was like, well, you figure a way out. And actually, after 2 months of intense teamwork with all the other colleagues and also a lot of UNITECH students, we figured out the problem. And it was great because it was 10 years there or 13 years there, and now it isn't anymore. And we know what's the root cause. And yeah, so freely choosing of tasks, you're being really valued and you could really grow yourself. And I mean, Munich is a perfect location for also free time activities. So on the top right corner, you can see not only UNITECH students being in Munich at this time, but you can also see UNITECH students doing their internships at Hilti in Liechtenstein. So visiting other UNITECH students is across the world or across Europe, not a problem. It's happening very often. Yeah, and it is just great to work with these highly motivated colleagues here, and you do not really feel like an intern. You're really valued like a normal employee. Basically, we don't even have an intern on our signature. It's just our department and our name, and that's it. So it's really being valued, and you can really grow yourself. Like if you want to do much, you get a lot of tasks, you get lots of responsibilities. So after solving the problem, we got a cross-divisional project, working with a lot of different departments, calling marketing senior marketing managers in America or in Asia, just a normal day-to-day job. So it's being really nice. And I mean, having so much to do, I then got offered the perfect chance to write my bachelor thesis at Infineon. I did not hesitate. I even took all my projects I had before. But I mean, you may be asking, okay, so many projects and your bachelor thesis, how do you handle it? Well, even more responsibility. I received my own little sub-column team, as we call it. So I have my own intern who's working for me, and we are sharing tasks. I'm guiding him, I'm giving the directions. At the same time, I'm writing my bachelor thesis. So it's always, I mean, as UNITECH students in the startup week, you're taught how to not manage people, but how to lead people. So, and the corporate partner, in this case, is even giving me this possibility to try it out and test it and see how far I can succeed. So yeah, it's just great. Yeah, maybe to put a point to it, in summary, the UNITECH corporate experience was and still is a great experience for everyone who wants to explore, be part of a valued family, and grow individually. I can only highly recommend it to everyone. And by the way, if anyone wants to join me in Munich, because I'm looking always for support, you are happy to do so. I'm just kidding. If you're joining and you're very good, you get your own team, your own interns, and you can start working your way up. Yeah, and with that, I want to give it back to Marta, and I'm looking forward to the questions in the later Q&A.
Thank you very much, Tobias. I think you've all felt the energy, the passion that Tobias has, and also the curiosity, the openness to learn, to the eagerness, you know, the hunger to learn not just technical things and management skills, but also worldviews. How do these people in Asia think about democracy? And what can I learn from their views, as opposed to just comparing it to my, in his case, my German way of seeing democracy, right? And this is part of the enrichment of this international experience, or multiple international experiences, as he's shown. As he said, you will get authority and responsibilities in this internship. So be ready. If you apply, this is what's waiting for you. So if we can bring all the speakers on camera, we are going to have now a moderated discussion. Please send your